Welcome to Breaking the News Plus. It is Tuesday night, the night after the WNBA draft. And tonight's the night we can actually start to look at who is on the Minnesota Lynx, who is not, and what does it all mean. And to join me with that, my friend, Andrew Dukowitz. He writes for pretty much everybody in terms of the Lynx and the Timberwolves. He's got some podcasts, ZoneCoverage. You can find him, Duke, Minnesota, on the interwebs. Andrew, the Minnesota Lynx selected Olivia Miles as their pick, number 2 pick in the draft. And I think it surprised a lot of people, including you and me.
Yeah. First off, appreciate the lovely introduction. I do. If there's a basketball dribbling in Minnesota, I'll probably find it. But yeah, I was pretty shocked. I thought they were going to go Awa Pham, especially after AZ Fudd got drafted to Dallas. But you know, after the draft concluded and Cheryl came out and spoke to us in the media, it became pretty clear that they think she's a generational talent. They think she is that good at playmaking and passing and seeing the floor. And I think when you have the opportunity to draft someone that is that gifted at a position they really haven't had, you know, a true point guard in since Lindsay Whalen, they just ultimately decided we have to take this chance, which I'm never going to be the person that calls out a Cheryl Reeve decision until I have more than enough facts to back it up. So until there's any question that, you know, this is a bust or that it went awry, I think you just got to trust that Cheryl has an eye for this type of stuff.
Yeah, in the wide world of sports, you're always going to have people that say you should have done this, you should have done this. The games haven't been played yet, but Cheryl's not on the show. Coach Reeve gave her reasoning saying, you know, there's a lot of people out there saying we needed a big, so you should have taken Pham or Lauren Betts from UCLA. And Coach Reeve's response to that basically was more verbose, but saying that the Lynx took the best player in the draft. They weren't drafting for a position, they were drafting the best player, and that's who they thought they had in Olivia Miles. Duke, I also want to ask you about, because Lynx fans had been nervous during free agency. It seemed like the longest 4 days of being a fan, because we lost so many players. Bridget Carlton, Jessica Shepard, Napheesa Heidemann, Alana Smith, Dejanay Carrington. I mean, we lost some core players. But it's not so simple as, well, the Lynx didn't want them, because that's clearly not the case. Pay the players, get that CBA meant the players that played for us, we're going to go get bigger paychecks other places?
Yes, and I am going to say my dogs are just anxious that it's almost dinner time. I'm not torturing dogs in the background. They just think that 5 p.m. comes early. But, I mean, that's the reality of this free agency. I think myself and other people in the media thought that the Lynx might be able to get some players to stay on hometown discounts. And, you know, this team that played together the last 2 years, is I've kind of labeled them the power of friendship team, because they were so close and so bonded. But at the end of the day, the Lynx just couldn't match these offers. I mean, you mentioned Bridget Carlton, Anna Smith, Dejanay Carrington, Jessica Shepard, Napheesa Heidemann, even Masha Kluendikova. They got a collective $5 million in free agency in a league that has a $7 million salary cap. I mean, there's just no way. And I think as the deals continued to roll out, it became pretty apparent that just the Lynx weren't going to be able to match a lot of them. Alana Smith got a 3-year max contract from Dallas. And I mean, we all love Lan here, but if you're keeping Courtney Williams, K-Mac, and Fee, you can't give another max contract out.
Right.
Jessica Shepard gets $1 million. Bridget Carlton gets a max contract. And, you know, Cheryl kind of talked about it last night of just, a lot of these players felt a certain way about having to go and leave this team. But at the end of the day, they kind of had to, right? I mean,
well, they worked so hard to get this.
Cheryl was quick to point out they didn't have to, but you know, the difference between $800,000 and $650, I mean, that's that's paying off half a house in cash. I mean, that's a massive deal for these players. So I think the Lynx took a lot of pride in seeing these deals come out. I mean, the last kind of stat I'd give is the 9 players of the Lynx that played in the playoffs last year for rotation minutes. They're going to get $10 million in total salary this year. I mean, that's a testament to how good this team was that they're getting paid that much.
Yeah, and I think that as I can speak to, there were a lot of fans when I would go watch the games last year, pay the players was the mantra by most fans. They wanted to see these players get rewarded for the work that they did. They wanted to see them get paid fairly, not rewarded, paid fairly for the work they did. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. So, yeah, is it a bummer to not have the stud buds on the same team? Yes, but Napheesa Collier going to go get generational money that she probably wouldn't have got here. Atlanta Smith, as you pointed out, I mean, she went from like $160,000 to 1 point something million, and it's just an astronomical amount of money. Congrats to them. But now we have these Minnesota Lynx for our starters, probably Olivia Miles, Fee, Courtney, K-Mac, and Natasha Howard is going to be my guess. Is this a good team?
I think so. It'll be a little bit different than last year. Napheesa Collier is going to be missing. It kind of is starting to sound like maybe the first half of the season due to that ankle surgery, which that's going to be tough, especially given this team came out of the gates and blowing teams out of the water last season. But at the end of the day, they kept their 3 all-stars, right? Courtney Williams is still a incredibly capable point guard in this league. I think it's going to be fascinating to see her play with Olivia Miles and kind of what those 2 guards can do. K-Mac proved that she still has a ton left in the tank last season. I just think it's going to be a little bit more of a finding out process the first half of the year. Dorka Juhas is returning from EuroLeague. She's 3rd currently in EuroLeague MVP voting and has a lot to prove as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's getting some starting minutes at the beginning of the season. And you mentioned Natasha Howard. I mean, she was imperative to that Indiana team, started every game for them and really helped them on their playoff run. So I do think this team is still going to be good next season. Where I think they're really going to shine is in the playoffs, though, because if they get Fee back at full strength, it is hard to understate how good she is. I mean, she is the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year that shot 50, 40, 90 as percentages and was the 2nd player in WNBA history to do so. So you get a good enough team with a lot of reps during the regular season, and then you add that back into the mix, and I think they're going to be a team no one wants to play in the playoffs.
You mentioned, Fee's injury, and it's not been officially declared by anyone with the organization nor Ms. Collier that she will miss any games. But are you just kind of reading tea leaves as you see them? Are you hearing things that I'm not hearing? Yes, I heard that Ryan, what's his name, said she's out, and Cheryl just dispensed that like trash into a trash bin. Like, oh, okay, well, good for him for knowing that.
Yeah, I think I'm still going off of the original timeline they gave back in January, which was 4 to 6 months that she would be missing. Just,
right.
You get both ankles done. One has to heal all the way before you can really get the second one done. She got the second one done about 3 weeks ago or so. I'm not saying it's going to take 3 months for her to heal from that second ankle, but again, just looking at timelines, that's kind of what it took for her to get that first one up to snuff to get the second one done. And I do anticipate she'll probably miss, at least May, just kind of with that original timeline. Again, 4 to 6 months, I would assume they would have hoped to have that second one done earlier. But at the same time, like, Fee is a remarkable human being that you never know, right? I mean, she played in the playoffs with pretty much one wheel and gutted through it. But this season, in my just kind of speculation, I think they're going to be a little more careful making sure she's at 100% before she does come back.
A logistical question then, if she is out for medical reasons, does that give the Lynx an opportunity to open up that roster spot? Is there a rule they can tinker with in the W or no?
I don't know. And part of that is because they're still working out some of the fine print of the CBA. I know in past years they've been able to get like a medical replacement, but this year they're going to have 12 people on their roster and then 2 developmental players that can come in and out kind of as needed. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to like get any salary cap exceptions or anything like that. But they're certainly going to have more options this year than just signing like a medical 2-week contract and hoping.
Right, right. And then let's just talk about a couple of, Minnesotans love some Minnesota. And a couple of bits of news. Nia Coffey has signed with the Lynx, pride of Hopkins, although there's a lot of pride out of Hopkins. I mean, ever heard of Paige Beckers? And there also is news today that Amaya Battle from the Gophers' latest run has been invited to join the invitation to try out squad. Those are 2 names people around here know. Talk a little bit about both of them and if either one of them has any chance of impact on this team.
Yeah, I mean, Nia Coffey first, she was really good 4 years ago. Shot 40% from 3, was really good on a kind of, a solid Sparks team, I would say. Always has been a pretty solid defender, but then she signed a 4-year contract with Atlanta, and she's kind of just fallen out of the rotation over the last 4 years, which that seems like the perfect Cheryl Reeve signing, right? Somebody
Right.
that has been down on their luck. The ball isn't going into the basket as much as it used to. Saw their minutes decrease every season, and you buy low on them on a 2-year contract. And she's proven that she can hit shots before, and she plays with a lot of effort and passion, which I think will fit in well with the Lynx. And with Fee being out, I think it makes a lot of sense that she's going to get minutes right away at the beginning of the season. And then it's just on Nia if she's able to capitalize on those minutes, which that's to be determined. That's kind of the part of, was it just a 1-year wonder with the Sparks and the Atlanta experience is more representative of her as a player, or are you able to kind of capture some of that excitement from a few years ago? The other thing is she's only 30 years old. I mean,
Right.
That's kind of right in the middle of a WNBA prime. So if there is something there, she could be a really good signing. With Amaya Battle, another Hopkins alum, which seems like there's a lot of them in professional sports nowadays. Lindsay Whalen recruited her to the Gophers back when Whalen was still the coach there. Amaya chose to stay when they made the change to Dawn Plitzawhite, and I covered the Gophers women this year too, and she's just an awesome person. I mean, she is someone that's if she's shooting 1 for 7 in a game, she'll go get 10 rebounds. If she's getting defended really hard, she's going to defend just as hard going back the other way. I do think she was a big leader on that team, and that Gophers team made the Sweet 16, and she was the second best player on it, including hitting that massive game winner to send them to the Sweet 16 over Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I think it's an awesome opportunity for her, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets one of those developmental spots. She's kind of a survivor. She just knows how to continue to reinvent herself and just work on stuff to stick around on rosters and make an impact. And again, it just seems like a Cheryl Reeve type of player, someone that will go out there and get rebounds if things aren't going their way, passes the ball, plays good defense. I think if there's kind of a question mark with Amaya, it's, what is her WNBA level skill?
Right.
I think that gets thrown out a lot. And I think Amaya is really, really good at a lot of things, but it'll be told to see if any of those can develop into a WNBA caliber, like this is her path type of skill.
Agree with all your points there. And to put across that T, dot that I, all of the players and the skills that you talked about, from Coffey to Battle to Miles to Courtney to Fee to K-Mac, they all have this through line of what it means to be a part of the Lynx organization. It is that if I'm having a down day here, I work harder here. That's Cheryl Reeves' kind of like stamp. That's her fingerprints on a team. And we have a lot of those players right now. So it should be interesting to watch. It may not work on day one, but that's why we play more games than one. It is time for you to feed your dogs, sir.
Yeah, they are, again, they think it's 5 o'clock. It's only 4:29, so they have a little bit of staring at me to do. But yeah, I would agree with you. It's the hallmark of a Cheryl Reeves team is just grit, toughness, and finding a way. And they brought in a lot of gals that have a lot of grit, toughness, and all of them have found a way to get here. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be different. I think I feel in a similar spot with a lot of the fans of this team was such a joy to cover and such a joy to watch and be around that it stings a little bit knowing that that locker room is going to be very different. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of fun to meet these new people.
That's right. May 10th is tip-off for the opener at Target Center. Thank you, Duke. We'll see you there. That's all for Breaking the News Plus on this Tuesday night.